What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fishing Friends with Danny and Gina. Of course, I'm Danny, but it looks like once again Gina's not going to be joining us. Um, she's been going through some really hard times. Her son Kane has been in the hospital for like a month now, almost. She just, he trying to remember exactly what she said. Um, she messaged me. So he was getting sick and throwing up for pretty much a week. So they took him to his GI doctor and they did an endoscopy and saw some irritation. And then the next night he was like really sick and got super lethargic and all that. So super early in the morning at like 2 a.m. Sorry, I got hiccups. Took him into the ER. And so then, like, the first week, they've been trying to get him, like, rehydrated and getting his kidneys and his GI tract back in order. And after that, he was almost getting better, and they were about to get home. And then they were about to, like, get sent home and all that. And then they noticed that he had an adrenal deficiency and hypoglycemia. So they've been working on that, trying to get everything in order for a while now. But yeah, it's been like 3 weeks. Um, like she wasn't because I didn't live stream last week. I didn't live stream the week before that, and she wasn't on the live stream with me the week before that. So it's been a while now, and so all of like my thoughts and stuff are going out to her, even though like I'm going through all my stuff too. Um, you know, like I'm losing my job, but I got some opportunities out there, some opportunities that I'm kind of interested to talk about, um, because I might be going back to. Well, I say going back. I don't mean going back. Um, well, I might be going back to work at a pet store again, but definitely not Pet Supplies Plus because I just cannot get along with Alicia. But there, the Petco near my house that Gina used to work at is hiring, and they actually offered me the position of one of the manager positions up there. The thing is, they didn't offer me the amount of the salary that I was looking for. So I haven't accepted the job yet. I've been kind of thinking about it over the last couple days, trying to get an idea of if I can, survive taking like a pay cut and like how much of a pay cut and how much I can survive off of that. And but the thing about the pay cut though too is it's um if my pay right now were to be based off of the like hours or whatever, I would be making, you know, less than that per hour or whatever. But the thing is, I work way more hours, so it kind of balances out. Like, because I make an all right amount of money, but I work like 50 to 60 hours a week because I'm in sales and, my business hours are 9 to 6. So, and I got to include travel time and then also travel time to and from work. Yeah, sick child is a terrible thing. And, I'm not sure how much you guys know about her son, but he's I'm not sure what sort of um specific ailments he has, but he's like wheelchair bound, one of those like automatic chair things or whatever, I'm pretty sure. um he's like nonverbal, uh and all of that, so he requires a lot of care all the time anyway. Oh my, there's this little bitty spider with a little web over my computer, and he's moving around. He should be getting up to almost camera height here in a second. There you go. Now you can see him. Oh well. I'll just leave him there for now. Take care of it later. I mean, I got a spider in this thing too. I got spiders all over the place, so whatever. Oh yeah, he's got like a whole little web on my ring light there. Huh. Interesting. um yeah, I feel really bad for Gina. Um but also like Gina was the one that told me that this Petco is hiring, and she's the one that told me to put in an application, and that apparently um there's not another position available yet, but one of the other manager might be leaving or might be getting fired soon or something like that. Like, he's thinking that it's not going to be too much longer before there's going to be another position available. So Gina might be, coming back to work for this Petco as well, instead of working all the way out at the Fenton one. And so like Gina and I would be potentially working together, not necessarily at the same time per se. I mean, we might cross paths for at certain points in the day, and for a couple hours maybe, but you know, we would probably be kind of working opposite each other for the most part, just because I mean, you don't need two managers there at the same time. Um, but Petco does their manage. They have actually like two different manager positions, which I think is pretty cool, because they have like the animal care uh, department lead or whatever, and then they have like the merchandising one. And the merchandising one is the position that I would be getting, at least at first. Um, and that's like, setting planograms and keeping everything in the store organized and looking good, and you know that whole thing. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it still. I want to maybe try to see if I can get a little bit more money out of them. Because I asked for like, right about here. They offered right about here. So maybe I can get them, a little bit in the middle. I don't want to go into the exact dollar amounts here, because I mean, it is what it is. I don't like to talk about money that much. Um, but what's cool is my sister and my brother-in-law will actually be, in fact, buying the hardware store from my second cousin's or second cousin. Um, so I'll eventually be going there. I just need something for, at least a year probably. Because it's going to take a little bit of time to get everything transitioned over and for them to kind of know exactly what's going on and everything like that, and get all the paperwork and get comfortable with the business and all that stuff and everything else. My cousin, is probably going to take his time with it. I mean, and that's fine. I was hoping to be able to just go straight to working for the hardware store. But that's definitely not going to happen. But it's good to know that my sister and my brother-in-law, like, they're fully committed to it now. They've sat down, they've talked, and they've gotten an understanding to where, like, yeah, we're going to make this work. And so it's like, hell yeah, like, this is awesome. So my sister's not going to be focusing on, like, buying land anymore, which, that means the whole thing about me eventually building like a tiny house or something like that, which I was talking about a couple weeks ago. That's kind of out the window, at least, right now. Because she doesn't want to live like, 45 minutes away from the hardware store and still be like owning that and all that. And she's already put a whole lot of work into the house that we grew up in, and it's freaking awesome with what she's done to like turn it into like a little miniature farm homestead. And so she was like having a lot of like mental arguments and whatever. I that's not the right word, but anyway, she was kind of arguing with herself in her head and couldn't quite make up her decision on like, should I look for land? Should I do this? She needed to know like whether or not the hardware store was going to actually work. And now that she knows that they're going to do what it takes to make it work, and that they're all kind of on the same page. We're all on the same page. But yeah, she's fully committed to that. So that's good. I'm excited that my sister and my brother-in-law are going to, be owning the hardware store. It's just really cool because it's like my grandfather and his brothers bought it in 1955 from somebody else, and they ran it for I don't know, like 40 years or something like that, and all kind of retired at different times slowly. As then it ended up my cousin, second cousin, has been like owning it now, along with another like second cousin. They've been kind of owning it together, and now we're going to start transitioning them out slowly. Kind of the same thing that my grandfather and brothers did. My grandfather, I think, was the only one that like retired right away and just got like bought out and just like took his money and like left. Or maybe no, he didn't like just take it all at once. He took it over like 5 years or something like that, where like the business kind of paid him out over the course of like 5 years. And that's what a lot of the other ones did, though. Some of them continued to work there through that time as well, just because they loved it so much. And I think my oldest uncle or great uncle, my grandfather's brother, the oldest, well, the youngest brother, though, now is like the oldest person in my family, like direct family line or whatever. He like pretty much kind of just stopped working there, and though I think sometimes he still kind of goes in and messes around with it in there, and that's the way I want to keep it. I want to keep the family involved, and that's the way my sister wants to keep it too, is just keep the entire family involved, keep running it the same way it's been ran forever, but then also, expand off of it a little bit, fix some things up that need to be fixed up, and all that. But there's been some years in the past where my cousins have had to take some money out of their own savings accounts to pay for the lease and stuff when business was bad. But apparently, since COVID, business has been pretty good. So it's definitely a good time to go and buy the business as well. So there's that, which is just good for my sister. Nobody's chatting or anything like that except Al Wet Sox. What's up, Al? So yeah, 2 weeks ago there was the auction for the Amazon Research Center of Ornamental Fishes with Dr. Anthony, and that was pretty cool. I enjoyed watching that, and I was kind of bidding a little bit, but I don't think I wasn't really trying to win anything. But I didn't want to end up streaming after that. It ended up being pretty darn late, and I didn't feel like streaming after that super late. And I had some other stuff that I wanted to do that night, so I just ended up not streaming. And then because of not streaming that night, I didn't get to tell you guys last week that I had some friends coming into town from Indiana and that we were going to hang out and stuff. So that's why I didn't stream last week. I did mention it in like a community post. I don't know how many people saw it or anything like that. But yeah, so some of the people that I do online gaming and play City of Heroes with, they came into town and we were hanging out, and while I was at work, them and some of our other friends went to like downtown St. Charles or Main Street St. Charles and kind of walked around down there and bought a few things. And then when I was hanging out, we went to like Dave and Buster's, and I was able to find my old Dave and Buster's card that had like 7,000 tokens on it. And so I ended up winning like 2,000 more tokens that night. And some of my other friends, they ended up kind of leaving. And when I was just kind of finishing up and was just going to go into the like the merchandise area to buy some stuff with all my tokens, and they had a few tokens or whatever on their cards, so they just gave me their cards as they were leaving, and said come to the house whenever I was done so that we could start a bonfire and hang out over there. And I think one had like 400 more tickets and the other had like 200 or something like that. So I ended up with roughly like 1,100 tickets. So I bought like a Well, the first thing I bought was a drone. It was a little drone, and it had like a little shell or whatever around it too, so where it has like a ground mode where you can put it on the ground and then it like looks like it's rolling around. And well, actually, I think it is kind of rolling around. I don't know how that works. And then you can fly it around and stuff too. It's kind of fun. And I also bought a like a party speaker that has like LED lights and stuff on it, and has Bluetooth, and you can like play music and have lights, and it's got decent sound to it. It's not like the best. Um, the company is Muse. I've never really heard of it before, and I'm so used to listening to music in my car that has like a really good sound system, to where listening to music out of just one speaker just sounds so weird and flat anyway. So it's hard to judge it for me, I guess. I don't know. Like it's got decent sound. It's not the best though. Of course, I think it does have the ability to where you can actually Bluetooth to multiple of them if you did have more of them, which is interesting. I think that's a pretty cool feature. So, if you had like, I don't know, four of them and you set them up in like stereo surround sound or something like that, it'd probably be a little bit better. But yeah. Oh, and my tarantula molted again. Now I have two little shells in there, exoskeletons. Yep. Yeah, I've been really trying to think too about like, do I really want to go work at a pet store again? Because there was like some things that were really cool about it. But I mean, aside from just my boss, there was some things that kind of sucked about it. But then, like when I was talking to Brian, the store manager, in the interview, he was kind of explaining to me about the way that Petco does it versus the way that we did it at Pet Supplies Plus. And honestly, I think Petco is a much better company to work for, it seems like. One, they actually seem to have a pretty decent benefits program, like a pretty good benefits program, actually, for like managers and stuff, full time employees. And I mean, I'm sure they have, like, if you manage to get full time hours or whatever as a regular employee, I'm sure you get all the same benefits too. But yeah, pretty decent benefits, 401k program, all that stuff. Then they have the way that they do it as well. They actually, Petco allows them to like schedule hours like outside of business hour time to like get certain things done. And I freaking love that, because when I was working at Pet Supplies Plus, like, man, trying to unload a truck at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's when it just happened to get there, and like work out all the freight and stuff when it's like the busiest time, and you have to like reset all the aisles and all that stuff too, and all that was just, it was just awful to just try to get all that done, and you have to do all that when there's like only two of you in the store too, and it's just you and the cashier, and it's like you got all these things that you have to do, and it's just you, and it's like, dang, that sucks. Whereas like at Petco, you schedule like an hour or whatever after work or whatever, and you get a lot of that stuff done then or whatever like that. Like I'm much better, like much more down with that. And then like when I was kind of talking about earlier about working like 60 hours a week, like all that, it's gonna be so nice on one hand to like go back to like a 40-hour work week, because man, I just don't have, I just have never felt like I have enough time to do anything working with the job that I currently have. That's almost gone. Like I work like 10 to 11, sometimes even 12-hour days. And then I got like my travel time on top of that too, because I live a half hour away from the depot. So it's like, man. Whereas like Petco is like just 10 minutes right around the corner. If I could drive there directly, it'd be 5 minutes. But because of this like creek and stuff or whatever, I have to like drive up this way and then over and then back down versus like driving straight there. And freaking it'd be so nice. I'm gonna have like 20 extra hours a week to like do whatever I want to do. What's up, Nano Aquarium guy? And so it's gonna be amazing to have all that free time. And I can get so much done. I can finally get some stuff done at the house that I haven't been able to get done. And like just feel so drained on the weekends where I can't get stuff done on the weekends either. I can actually fire my lawn care people where I can just take care of my lawn myself again. That sounds like time for parody songs. You know, that's what I was kind of thinking too. Like my YouTube channel has been like struggling so much. Though I mean, I say struggling or whatever. Like I'm not really trying to do anything with it per se. But you know, there's people out there that have, you know, they've gotten that 1,000 subscribers, and you know, I haven't gotten that yet. I'm sure I can get there. I'm getting up there. I think I'm pretty close to 700 now. You gotta double check. I think I'm at like 697 or maybe not quite. 695. Nice. But then also being at a pet store again, it gives me more content for my channel as well. And Brian won't be a dick if I happen to, you know, film something really quick while I'm working on my phone. I think Brian might happen to like my YouTube channel. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. See, the thing that I like about Brian, and so Brian came from Walgreens before he worked at Petco. He's been with Petco for 1 year, and he was with Walgreens for 15 years before Petco. And he came over from Walgreens to Petco because his boss from Walgreens had started working for Petco and said that he should come work for Petco. And so he's been working for Petco now. And he's, enjoyed it for the most part. And, but the thing about Brian is like I think he said he has like a cat and a fish tank and I think maybe something else too. But he's not like crazy about animals, and that's why I think he's really good in like the store manager position. And that's why that's what his boss said too. Like his boss said that's why he'd be good in that position as well, because he can focus on the business and then leave the animal craze and the care about the animals to people like me and Gina or any other manager, all of his other employees and stuff. So that's pretty good. He did seem really easy to talk to for the most part. So there's that. I just want to know. I just want to know how much he really wants me to work there, I guess. Because like I just want to make sure that I get my time's worth, I want to get paid enough for my time and my effort. And I want to know that you're willing to put in the effort to get me what I deserve. Like okay, if the pay range is like here to here, and I ask for like, I ask for the top, of course, right? And you offer me like just above the bottom, like that just kind of seems like a little bit of like a slap in the face with the experience that I have and like my work ethic and all that stuff. And just the fact that a lot of my customers kind of sometimes semi-frequently go to that Petco. And just because I might start working there, they might start going to that Petco more often. And I might really help turn that store from a C-level store into a B-level store. And I would love to turn it into a full A-level store, but I'm not sure if that's fully possible. But that's the store. An A volume store is the store that Gina's been working at out in Fenton. And but man, if Gina came back too, we would be like a freaking power team. Like it'd be awesome. And I really only want to work there if Gina's gonna do it too. But Gina right now has other focus on her son and all that, and I'm really not trying to like bother her too much. I'm in bed here and you listen till I'm asleep. Wishing Gina all the best. I really like following you too. We are always okay with pet store talk. Oh yeah. But that's what this show or whatever it's really all about, was like the pet store talk. And you guys asking me us questions about, life at the pet store and, talking about customer things and, and pet store things and whatever else. Like, that's why Gina and I started our show together. And if we end up working together, then yeah, at the end of the week, like, here's the thing though. Here is the thing. If Gina and I start working together, we might have to change the time of the live stream, or we might have to change the day, or something like that, or it just might not work out at all to continue with the live stream together. And it's not at all the fact that it's like, we would be working together and streaming together and just getting like too much time. Like, it has nothing to do with that at all. But it's just a fact of I might have to close Saturday night. And if I'm not closing Saturday night, that would mean Gina would be closing Saturday night. So no matter what, one of us is going to be working pretty much all the way until the end of the live stream. Ish. Because Petco now stays open until 9. And so, the latest, so you got about a half hour to close all the registers and do some final cleaning and all that stuff too. So you're going to get out of work at 9:30. And like I said, I live about 10 minutes away. She lives about 15, 20 minutes away. It depends on how those stop signs and stoplights work. But about 15 minutes away. So, yeah, no matter what, one of us would be getting home like right before the end of the live stream, if we were to be streaming from 8 to 10. So we would either have to change the live stream from like 10 to 11 or like 10 to midnight. Yeah, maybe we'll switch it to just an hour instead of 2 hours. And we could do that. And then, yeah, the live stream would be like an end of the week wrap up to where we can just talk about all that stuff. It would be cool, but we'd have to change the time. Maybe change. Well, no, I don't want to change it to Sundays because Sundays is when I do my karaoke, so I can't do Sunday nights. And so. Because Sunday, the business hours would be different. It'd only be like, I don't know, like 6 p.m. or something like that, I think. But yeah. Well, that's just something we'll have to talk about a little bit further down the road. I still want to try to negotiate my pay a little bit more, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how I should do that. I'm just kind of talking it through in my head. Yeah, the people that I do online gaming with, they some of them also play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic online, or Star Wars The Old Republic. It's like Star Wars online, and I've played some of it before. The friends that I play with that are local, I've been over to their house, and he had his profile, and he let me create my own Sith character on there. So I made my own sort of like Darth Maul type character on there. Made like a true Sith with like the red face and all that. And because there's like the Sith that is like this actual like Sith race, and there's like the Sith, as in like the Dark Jedi, like Sith sort of title or whatever. The Sith Lords, the original Sith Lords were like the masters of the Sith people, and so anyway, I don't know all the lore behind it, so I'm not gonna try to explain it and screw it up. But you can like make different versions of light side characters and different versions of dark side characters. And it's like a massive multiplayer online game, and it's free. I tried to download it on my computer, and it seemed to download fine, but I would open the launcher and I'd hit play, and it wouldn't do anything. So I've tried to go online and look for some different fixes, and none of the fixes have seemed to work. So one of the final fixes that I've found was to try to download Steam and then download the game through Steam and like launch it that way, because maybe it's like an error with the launcher itself. And so right now I'm downloading the game via Steam again, and I will downloading the game again via Steam, and we'll see if I can get it to work after the live stream's over, because some of them have been getting on with that now, and it would be fun to run around with, 3 or 4 other Jedi or whatever else, and, do some missions together while, having like one person with like a blaster, like Han Solo type character, have a couple Jedi Sentinels, an actual like Jedi Knight sort of guy, and then I don't know. I don't remember what all the character types are like and what their names are. But it's a pretty cool game. And it's free. So if you do any sort of like PC gaming or whatever, check it out. And it's an old enough game too to where, apparently you should be able to run it on pretty much any computer. It doesn't like have high like graphics or video quality needs or anything like that. But then again, they say you should be able to run it on any computer, and here I am struggling to get the game going. But like I said, I think it's just a launcher issue, and sometimes that happens. That's why there's multiple ways to accomplish the same thing. Craig's Catfish Cave, what's up, dude? Yeah, some of the negatives of working at a pet store is like having to clean up after other people's animals. Like, a lot of the times people are, pretty good with their animals, and they try to, do a good job of, having their animals well trained and, well watched and all that stuff. Like they do a good job of watching their animals and keeping them in control and all that stuff. Whereas there's some other people that just seem to walk around very nonchalantly and just not pay attention to anything at all. And their dog just shits right in the middle of the floor. Nobody says anything. Nobody even notices. And you just kind of walk up and you just see a shit, like a big pile of shit right in the middle of the floor. And you go to clean it up, and it's already like cool or whatever, you know? It's not even warm. And so that means it's been sitting there for a while. And so, yeah, there's probably been a few people that have stumbled upon it and not said anything. What's up, Gina? I hope Kane is doing a lot better. And Petco needs to pay me more. Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun to have to clean up and all that, you know. But the thing that really ticks me off, which I haven't like confronted them. And what is even funnier is that they actually ended up also being my customer with like Schwann's and Yellow again. And I still never even said anything to them. But these people that had this husky, super gorgeous dog. I love to look at this dog. It's the most beautiful husky I've ever seen. Never seen one with a red coat like this. The standard like husky look with the white patterns and stuff on there, the white underbelly and undertones, but where it would normally be like gray or kind of like a brown color or whatever, where the dark parts is, it's like a dark red, sort of like burgundy color. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. But this dog just goes around and just marks everything, just pees on like everything. And it's just like, it's like ruining some of the products. Like, how am I supposed to sell a cat tree that's covered in dog piss? He's doing good. He got off the IV yesterday. Blood sugars were good. So now we're trying to get him off continuous feeds today. Okay. Man, that's so scary, though. So this Thursday that's coming up is Halloween. And hello, Tundra. I have all my decorations outside, except I do want to incorporate this guy still somewhere. I have just a skull out there, like in my bush, to where like you can't see it pretty much until you like walk up on the bush, and then it's like highlighted by the black light that there's just this skull just poking out of the bush. So that's just kind of fun. I think I want to do the same sort of thing with this guy. Have him like looking like he's like sneaking behind the bush and like poking his head out or something like that. Like doing this sort of thing. And So I might try to do that. But yeah, this Thursday is Halloween, and Thursday is also one of the nights that I go out and do karaoke. So at first I was like, oh crap, well, I put all these decorations out and got all ready to do freaking like pass out candy and stuff, and now I'm gonna do karaoke, and but then it's like, well, I can go to karaoke a little bit later because it'll be dark by like, I don't know, 6:30 or 7 is when it'll start to get pretty dark, and by that time people will start going out, and I'll do pass out candy for an hour or two, and then go out to do karaoke after that and wear my costume out there because I got like my Viking costume is like fully complete now because I have like a cape and everything for that. And you guys will get to see that next week because next week will be like the Halloween special. I was debating on whether to do it like tonight or next week. Like, do I do it the Saturday before or after Halloween? And it's just like, it's the 26th. It's pretty darn close to Halloween. But I think next Saturday is technically like a day or two closer to Halloween because it's like, yeah, Saturdays, Anyway, so next week will be the Halloween special where we'll do like trick or treating and stuff like that. So definitely be there. And I'll wear my costume again on Saturday. And it'll be a lot of fun. But one of my friends that does karaoke, he's going to dress up as Rob Zombie this year. And he's got like the perfect beard for it and all that stuff already. So he just had to find a wig and kind of turn it into a Rob Zombie type wig and get all the proper makeup and stuff. And so I'm super excited to see him all like Rob Zombie and sing a bunch of Rob Zombie songs on Halloween. It's going to be a lot of fun. Super excited. Had to throw away many beds and stuffed animals because of customers letting their dogs pee on everything. It's just like, come on. Like, these people should know that their dogs aren't like good in stores and stuff like that, and should like not take their dogs in stores. Like, be respectful. Just be respectful. Petco was in the news last week or something because someone recorded the dumpster that had a bunch of ripped up dog beds in it. I bet they were thrown away because customers let their dogs piss on them. Yeah. Right? People get mad. How can Petco just throw away these perfectly good dog beds instead of donating them to the needy? When it's like customers let their dogs piss all over them, and when it soaks into the fabric in the bed, you want me to donate that to your dog? Okay. Yep. See, people just, they react without understanding the big picture. And I mean, the media is really good at doing that sort of thing. And what's funny is I can actually kind of show you what I'm talking about right now. So there we go. So watch this. So you have this entire picture, right? All these boundaries, this big thing. But the media, they show you this much. They show you this much of what's going on. You don't get anything over beyond here. and you don't get anything beyond it. You don't see the beginning, and you don't see the actual end. You just see the middle section of what they want to show you versus the whole thing, and they can manipulate the way that you see what's occurring by just cutting out the beginning and the end and showing you certain parts. And with images too, they can do it with images and just showing you part of the image versus the entire image. If you catch a customer with a dog that pees on products, are you supposed to charge them for that item? No. Corporate doesn't want us to offend or piss off customers, so we damage them out and dispose of them. Exactly. It's so annoying how you can't confront these people. And I had the same sort of thing when I was at Target happen, and I said something kind of under my breath, and the lady kind of heard me, and it ended up actually being the wrong person, and I didn't quite realize that was the wrong person. So let me explain. I think I've explained it before, but when I was working at Target, I was going out and I was kind of working freight. I was taking stuff from the back and I was bringing it out to the floor to kind of restock the floor. And I'm in the the bedding section, right? Where the pillows and the blankets and all those different things are. And there's this little brown, medium to brown, brown skinned girl. I don't know if she was, Hispanic or Arabic or anything like that. But just a little brown skinned girl that was running around and getting the kid blanket sets and stuff and grabbing the stuffed animal and the blankets and separating them and throwing them around and doing all different stuff and just creating a really big mess and separating all these products that were supposed to be in the sets and just playing with it. And it seemed like nobody was around or paying any attention. And I just kind of see this one lady kind of standing there just messing around on her phone. And it was a white lady or whatever. So I just I assumed that it wasn't her kid. And so I kind of said under my breath, man, I wish somebody would stop it from making such a mess in the store. And she was just kind of oh, what was that? And I was just I wish somebody would stop it from making such a mess in this store. And then she's just first of all, how dare you call my daughter an it? And gets totally flips out on me or whatever. And it's just I wasn't calling your daughter an it's it is a gender neutral term for anything, a being or whatever. I didn't want to necessarily say her or him or whatever, and whatever. It was I didn't want the child. Stop the child from creating a mess. Well, I just said it's it's a completely normal word. I wasn't saying it's I wasn't saying it in any sort of attitude or whatever. But anyway, she flips out at me, tells me to call my manager and all that stuff. So I called the friggin' store manager right there to do all that thing. And she explains her side first as I'm kind of off around in an aisle still stocking my stuff. And she exaggerates the whole thing and just makes it super hardcore crazy. And so then the store manager comes up to me and she's like, so what happened? And I said, it's I mean, it's pretty much what she told you, but she kind of exaggerated it and made what I said sound a lot worse than it did. But I pretty much, and then I explained to her exactly what I explained to you about how I just kind of said, I wish somebody would stop it from making a mess and destroying the store. And, she kind of explained to the customer how it's like, we got people that, are constantly having to clean up that stuff and it can be stressful and all those different things. And, she had my back, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, I didn't get in like any sort of trouble or anything like that. Really, she just kind of said, be careful with what you say and, you know, just try not to even say it. And I was like, yeah, I was like, it's right. I shouldn't have said anything, but I didn't think she could hear me. And I definitely didn't think it was her kid when I, clarified what I said in front of her. I would get so fired. Yeah, it's, man, I have worked in so many different jobs where I have to bite my tongue. It's like the army. Like, I was walking around the mall one time after I got off drill with the National Guard. I stopped at the mall on my way home and was trying to grab a few things. And when I was walking through, some lady spit on me and called me a baby killer. And it's just like, that's assault and whatever else. But it's like, I was in uniform. I can't really do anything about it. I can maybe call the police and like press charges for the lady spitting on me, but I didn't feel like dealing with all that, especially when it's just like, I kind of also sympathize with her and I understand where she's coming from, though I wouldn't ever spit on a soldier because I also understand where the soldiers are coming from, that they're just doing their job. Anyway, um, but then also like, yeah, working in so many different retail jobs, like you gotta watch what you say because you get fired if you piss off the customers for no reason. And gosh, we're gonna self checkout. Like I I got so stressed out and felt like my job was on the line one time because I thought this lady was trying to steal some product. And it's because apparently she came into the store with some of this product, went into the store to like find some other product to like compare it to, and had already been at like guest services and stuff to try to find some things. Went into the store with some of that product that she already owned and grabbed a whole bunch of other product that looked like it had it all in the same sort of stuff and is going through self checkout and is doing different things, and then goes over to guest services, I guess, returns a couple other things that she didn't want, or finishes her exchange and whatever else, and then starts walking out of the store. And I was just like, ma'am, you didn't pay for some of that stuff. And I kept pressing her on it because I didn't see what she walked into the store with. All I saw was her acting weird and shifty in self checkout and not scanning all the products. So I knew she didn't tend to, whether she owned it already or not, I knew she didn't pay for some of that stuff then and there at that time. And so I was kind of pushing it. And of course, she was a black lady as well. And so she starts pushing all this race stuff on me as well, even though it had absolutely nothing to do with the color of her skin. She was just acting weird and shifty and self checkout and didn't scan all the products. So, like, I'm sorry, whatever. But man, like, I was sweating my ass off. I'm feeling like this lady is going to like accuse me of being a racist and like get me fired. And like I I never felt like my fight or flight response and all that other stuff react like so hardcore other than like at that time in my life. Like, and I've been in Iraq and, you know, had a truck that was ticking that I thought was a bomb and some other things like that, But that was like the time that I was most fearing for like everything in my life happening. Like, and it's crazy. Like, I shouldn't have to worry about that stuff. It's like I'm not racist at all. But it's like, God, that lady could have potentially ruined my entire life. Target in Bridgeton has racist employee, blah, 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 blah. Like, man. And then, pet stores and all that stuff too. Working with Schwans. Some of these people that I have as customers are not the smartest of people. Sometimes they want to, I don't know, like push their politics on me or, whatever else and talk about some things that I just really don't agree with or whatever else. And, I have to always bite my tongue with that. Whereas like now I don't really have to so much as well. And one of my customers, like, it was the last time I was going to see her. So she just kind of started pushing and talking about some different things. So I ended up kind of opening it up more. And she's like, get out of my house. And she was kind of semi-serious, but I kind of kept talking to her, and we ended up kind of still having a conversation for a little while longer. But yeah, it's like now that I don't have to necessarily try to retain these customers and keep them buying from me or whatever, as to keep them happy so that a happy customer buys more stuff, and continues to be a customer. I can kind of say whatever I want. Though I've been really happy with most of my customers. But now we are out of stock of so much stuff now that I don't even have to, like, I barely have anything to even sell at the door. So we're not even like doing at the door. I'm just pretty much doing delivery only now with people that ordered ahead of time. Because I only have like 10 other products on my truck to try to sell to people. So I'm pretty much, if my customers are not ordering, I'm pretty much only going to the people that I have something that they might buy, or if I really like them and I want to say goodbye to them. There's some people that I don't really care, and I've just like I was like, I've already pretty much said my goodbye to you, so I don't have to go to your house again. And I've just kind of moved on and given myself more time with the customers that I really do want to talk to. And also, since we're like, closing up and all that anyway, too, this past week, I pretty much was finishing up closer to like 5:15, 5:30 versus after 6 o'clock. A couple weeks ago when we first announced that we were going out of business, everybody and their moms was ordering, and I was having super late nights. And that's another reason why I was, like canceled the live stream after the auction, because I just wanted to go to bed. Sleeping Friday night into Saturday night just wasn't enough sleep, and I just wanted to go back to sleep because I had been working so many late nights that I was pretty much like sleep deprived, and now we're pretty much sold out of everything. So I've been having some earlier days, but like I said, I'm bringing it up again. I'm pretty excited to get back to a job that is just like a normal, like 40-hour work week, because that gives me, 15 to 20 extra hours a week that I have just been missing with, driving around, going customer to customer and doing all this other stuff with my current job. So that just gives me so much more free time to do whatever I want to do and, reinvest into my YouTube channel again. So I'm kind of excited about that. Though I'm not sure if Petco is the right option or not. I'm thinking it is, but I got to see if they're going to be willing to pay me more than what they offered. I'm going to have to ask Brian to send it up again and to ask them for more, because that's not working. I guess I'll call him on Monday. I told him to give me a couple days to think about it. But more or less, I make when I average out my normal like average sales and commission and all that stuff, I pretty much make roughly like $45,000 a year right now, maybe a little bit more. And so I was shooting to make, 50,000 a year, which roughly comes out to like $24 or $25 an hour. But they offered me $18.75, and that's $10,000 less than what I asked for per year. And that just kind of seems like a little bit of a slap in the face with the experience that I offer. And maybe I didn't quite sell myself enough. I don't know. Maybe HR just is not desperate enough to want to hire me that much. I don't know. But I'm going to have to, I got to ask for more than that. I can't. I don't think I can take that much of a pay cut, even if it is for only like a year. I don't know. I can't necessarily rely on the fact that I'm going to be ending up right at my, family's hardware store in like a year, and I need to focus on like trying to get something that can be a permanent place too. So it just sucks. Mental dilemmas. I didn't want to talk exact numbers, but I did anyway. Screw it, whatever. But I don't think I'm greedy to ask for that. I worked really hard at Pet Supplies Plus. I work really hard at what I do now. And I would work really hard for people that, scratch my back at the same time. But I feel like if I work there and I accept $18.75 and I know like I'm taking a pay cut, I feel like mentally that's going to make me not want to work as hard. It's like, you pay for what you get, right? If you pay me what I asked for, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to do what you asked for. If you pay me $10,000 less than what I asked for, I'm going to give you work that is $10,000 less than what I offer. That's the way I look at it. And I mean, in today's day and age, I don't think asking for $24 an hour is really that much for a manager of a store. Like, with the economy as it is, so. Anyway, if I can get $18 an hour to go to McDonald's, then friggin' I'll go work at McDonald's for $18 an hour. Why would I put myself through all the stress of being a manager at Petco for $18 an hour, whatever, It's a lot more stressful to be a manager at Petco than it would be to be a manager like McDonald's or Jack in the Box or something like that. I've worked at Jack in the Box before. And yeah, it's a lot working in those kitchens and trying to keep up with, people's food orders and stuff. It can be a lot. It's just a lot of constant movement and stuff. But I feel like it'd be a lot easier to just kind of focus on, food and money and people than it would be to just focus on all these other things in this entire store with all the animals and everything else you have to deal with too. So I don't think I'm asking for too much at all. Guess that's what I'll have to tell him over the phone. Is that I'll work for you for $18.75, but you're gonna get $18.75 hour work. You're not gonna get $25 an hour work for it. What does that mean? Well, you tell me. Star Wars back to the Sorry, I'm still downloading that stuff in the background. But I excel at customer service. And Petco, the way that they have their stuff organized, that is different than what it was at Pet Supplies Plus. Petco really would give me the opportunity to utilize my customer service skills, whereas Pet Supplies Plus my manager seemed to criticize my customer service and would just try to get me to shut up and just get stuff done so that she didn't have to, or whatever else. To where, like, yeah, by the last couple months that I was working there, I was doing my best to avoid customers because I knew customers would want to keep talking to me because I would give them, I had the information that they wanted and I was knowledgeable about stuff to where they would keep asking me questions and keep talking to me. And that would kind of keep me focused on them and the conversation to try to help them versus stocking the dog food or whatever else. Which, I figured as the assistant manager of a store and, all that, my focus would be more on the customers versus like stocking dog food. Like, I'll never understand how I got hired as the assistant manager and like pretty much ended up being the freaking stock boy of the store. And it's just like, that's what the workers are for. The workers are supposed to do the work, right? Like, I'm not saying that I'm not supposed to like help out and whatever, but it seems like I was the one that was doing most of the heavy lifting, along with the only other guy that was in the store doing like all the heavy lifting of everything. And yeah, anyway, I'm not getting into that. But Petco has like they schedule some hours outside of business hours to actually get freight loaded and some different stuff and whatever else. So you got that. And he even talked about how sometimes, you just gotta put stuff down and put all your focus on the customers. Brian definitely seems like he'd be a lot better person to work for than Alicia was. Alicia, I don't even understand how she is still in the position that she's in, other than the fact that she like started the store and whatever else, and like I guess somehow manages to keep the store pretty clean because like she goes through staff like crazy. She can't keep any sort of assistant managers or managers or whatever to save her life. Everybody just quits all the time. You think that, Kelly and the people in charge of her would like start to like look at that and be like, yeah, maybe she does good as far as some of the numbers and stuff like that, but God, everybody hates her. Maybe we should hire somebody that's a little bit better or something. I don't know. That's what's I don't know. It's hard to think about from somebody that would be potentially like in charge of her. Because like I said, when it comes down to the numbers, like she's fairly accomplished as far as the numbers go. She does good on sales. She does good on, being profitable and, animal health and keep the fish tanks are always looking pretty darn clean. Like she gets that accomplished for the most part, but her interpersonal skills are just awful to where like the customers that deal with her don't really seem to like her that much. they like the other people a whole lot more. And, none of the employees seem to actually really enjoy dealing with her at all. And that's why they always end up quitting after like a couple months. I don't know how I made it an entire year in that store. I think the only reason I even made it, I think the only reason I was there as long as I was because for some reason I felt like I was stuck there. Like, I didn't want to go through the hassle of trying to find another job. And, I was scared to try to find another job. I mean, I don't like trying to find another job. I hate that I have to find another job right now because I really like what I do. I like my coworkers. And, finding a place where you actually like the entire thing, like, that's hard, man. A place where you actually make enough money and you enjoy what you do, you enjoy your coworkers, you enjoy your boss, like you enjoy like every aspect of your job pretty much. Like, that is so hard to find. And like I not everything was perfect with Schwann's. Like I said, I wish I had more time. I wish I didn't have to work 10 or 11 or 12-hour days, you know. I wish I made a little bit more money, Don't we all? Don't we all wish we made more money? But like, I man, I'm really sad I have to say goodbye to this whole thing. And it's coming to a close so much faster than I thought it was going to. We're pretty much sold out of everything now. And yeah, I still have some time to find a job, but wish I didn't have to find another job. I don't really know if I want to go back to working at a pet store. Maybe I just want to go to continue driving. I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to go ahead and accept the job and just work there for a little while I potentially go and find something else. Though I hate doing that sort of thing. I want to be able to commit to something. Same way as what I was talking about earlier in the stream, how my sister wanted to be able to commit to either finding land or buying the hardware store. And now that she knows that it's going to work and they're going to make it work and everything, she can fully commit to buying the hardware store. I want to be able to commit to something. I want to be able to find a place that I like and enjoy and be able to like set my roots there, and learn from the whole thing and like really settle down and get comfortable in a place and get to know all my coworkers and build, a set of regular customers and all that stuff that come in and say hi and all that different stuff. I love that sort of thing. And that's why I'm super excited to down the road start working at the family hardware store. And that's probably where I'm going to end up and where I'm going to hopefully retire from. And I just got to get there now because I really do believe in my sister and brother-in-law. I believe that they can run it properly, that they're going to continue running it. And I know that they actually believe in me, that I can actually work there full time and like be their go-to person as far as like being in the store and them being more of the behind the scenes stuff. It's perfect. I just got to get there. I got to find something in between. And it was a little bit easier decision knowing that, Gina could be coming to work there too. Though it's like, that's not a guarantee. I might start working there and then maybe the other manager that they have right now, all of a sudden decide like their work as I don't remember all the details on whether it's their issue or the their poor work ethic and on the verge of getting fired. Like I don't remember what it is, but like they might turn around and all of a sudden stick around, and then there might not be another position available for Gina to come back. Gina might change her mind and just continue to stay out there in Fenton. I don't know. It's just like my sister and brother-in-law both said just go ahead and take the job at Petco. My brother-in-law said try to get more money out of them, but you should go ahead and just take the job there because it's just it's pretty much temporary that I'm gonna be there. So I've been telling my customers that live in this area or near me and stuff that that's most likely what I'm gonna do is start working at the Petco there. So come in and see me. I'd love to continue to see you and your dog all the time. So definitely come in and see me there and buy some stuff from me there. And that is probably what I'm gonna do. I do hope I can get a little bit more money out. Just so that especially if this election goes wrong or something and the economy just continues to get worse and worse, like I don't want to go back to the feeling of struggling that I had when I was working at Pet Supplies Plus. I know this is a different store. This is a different way of working. It's a different manager, different times, different pay scale. But it's been several years since I've made like hourly pay. And so I was trying to figure it all out in my head and trying to convert my pay into hourly and seeing how much I make now and convert that into hourly pay and then compare it to hourly. Stupid math. I hate math. I'm good at math, but I hate math. I Ugh. This is so crazy. Really, it's been a super easy process for the most part. I put in an application. Like a day later, maybe 2 days later, he called me. That same day that he called me, I went in for an interview. Totally rocked the interview. I feel like he was like, this guy is a good candidate. I'm definitely going to shoot for the higher pay scale and all that stuff. I feel like it's the HR business people or whatever that they haven't talked to me. They don't know me. They don't understand what I can actually bring to this store that are just like, nah, just give them the 1875, give him something a little bit better than the lowest starting pay, but not the but we're not going to give him what he asked for. Like, I feel like I just need Brian himself to maybe push a little bit harder. So, yeah. I'm going to give him a call on Monday and explain my case. Not with too many words, but more or less say that, I feel like 1875 isn't worth enough. And I could work for you for 1875, but I feel like that would not lead to me working my hardest. I feel like my time is worth much more than that. And so if you want to pay me 1875, I'll work for you for 1875, but you won't get the best work out of me that you would get. If you want to get the best out of me, you got to give me at least 20. Still, ideally, I'd like 25 or 24, but I can't accept anything less than $20 an hour. With what we have in these times, I got a house that I got to take care of. I got a mortgage. I got car payments still. Well, actually, I did just pay off my car, actually. But with the way that I have my loans set up through my dad and everything, I'm just making one solid payment to him with every paycheck that I get. I'm paying him money, and it's more or less just one giant loan. My dad has let me, consolidate stuff through him. It's nice having a super business savvy dad with an excellent credit score and all this other stuff. I'm like truly blessed because I like fucked up my credit score, and my dad doesn't want me to pay crazy stupid interest on things that I shouldn't have to. So like the only reason I'm in the house that I'm in right now is because my dad helped me buy it. And more or less, my dad bought the house by refinancing his own house. He bought this house, and I'm paying my dad back on the house. And like, he's using the money that I'm paying him to pay back his loan on like his own house and stuff like that. And it's just like, I'm just like super blessed to have that. And I mean, whatever, like it doesn't matter to you guys what my finances are or anything like that. I'm truly blessed to even have that sort of thing, because though I can afford to pay for like my own mortgage and stuff on a house, I can't qualify for one. And so renting is so expensive to where like I would just my dad has just figured it all out. So, and I'm aware of it or whatever, but my dad has figured it out and has just been so willing to help me in any way that he can. Super awesome dad. And he's been, helping all of us kids in all different sorts of ways. So I feel like I've been helped the most. But then again, I'm sure some of my other siblings would probably feel like they were helped the most as well. But I've definitely had a lot of some of the hardest struggles in this life. most of them by my own bad choices, but my dad has always been there for me, and like he just has figured it out that if I were to just keep renting, there'd be no way that I'd be able to ever get anywhere. So instead of renting to some foreign company or whatever else and paying all these crazy fees and all these different things like that, my dad has more or less allowed me to rent through him, but instead of paying all the crazy amount of rent, I'm paying a basic mortgage amount, and I'm still, I'm liable for everything that happens with the house, as far as, paying for all the utilities and things like that. So, when it comes to rental agreements, a lot of the times why you're paying a lot more is because some of this stuff is included with it. And then you're just paying for the general liability of, somebody else, you're living in somebody else's house. And if you break stuff, they're kind of responsible for fixing it unless they can prove that you directly caused the damage on purpose and can sue you for it or whatever. But when you're renting an apartment or a house or whatever else, there's all those appliances and things like that the landlord is responsible for fixing and repairing, and well, that's the same thing. But everything related to that the landlord is responsible for. You're just using it for that time, so that's why you pay so much more money for that. So I mean, I guess in the long run I'm still probably spending just as much money, but at least my money isn't going to some foreign entity or whatever, some big company that's just going around and buying houses and trying to, turn us all into a rental society. Speaking of rental society, my annoying neighbors that used to live over here have now moved out. I guess their 1-year lease on the house is now expired, and they're gone. Thank goodness. Because their dogs were annoying. The way that they would park all the time with a million cars was annoying. They would just have terrible lawn upkeep that was super annoying and hard to look at. And then their kids, the teenage boys, would always talk about how they wanted to mow my lawn, when it's just you guys don't even do a good job of keeping up with your lawn, and you think I'm gonna have you be responsible for mine? Hell no. And then, they freaking left their lawnmowers in my driveway one time, to where I couldn't even pull into my own driveway. I had to get out of the car and move the lawnmowers and then back into my driveway. And then I'm just you know what? Screw that. So I freaking took those lawnmowers and hid them I tried to put them both in my shed, but they wouldn't fit. So I put one in my shed and I put one next to the shed, but out of their view so that they couldn't see it unless they actually went into my yard and specifically looking for their lawnmowers. And I kept the lawnmowers for a couple days just because they had no respect. And I'm just you leave them in my yard, I guess they're mine now. But I wasn't going to keep them for forever. After a couple days, I made sure that everybody in their house was gone. And then I threw one of their lawnmowers in their own backyard by hopping the fence. And then I put the other one at the end of their driveway so that when they got home, they had to move the lawnmower in order to park in their own driveway. Do I know if they ever figured out if it was me that did it or suspected me of it or whatever? I have no idea. They never once came over to my house and asked if I knew what happened to their lawnmowers, though they should have known that they left their lawnmowers in front of my house. So, whatever. I could have kept those lawnmowers for forever if I wanted to, but what was I going to do with like 2 push lawnmowers when I already have like 2 of them? So, yeah, rent is crazy. I am just buying my own place now. I should be moving soon, putting most of my savings there. But yeah, still better than paying someone else's mortgage. Yeah, right. But the thing that sucks though too is just like, yeah, in order to like qualify for buying a house, you have to be very successful at going into debt. That's what I hate about the credit system here in like the United States, and I'm sure it's pretty similar in the rest of the world. At least the uh, first world stuff. But like, you have to go into debt in order to get more into debt and be more successful at getting into debt in order to qualify to go more into debt so that you can go more into debt so that you can qualify to go even more into debt. Like, you have to be successful at going into debt in order to go more into debt. It has nothing to do with your ability to actually pay. It just has to do with your ability to actually go further into debt and continue to pay on it. So like, that's when my dad just like decided to like just really help me out and do what he did. And I wish we would have like maybe stepped on it a little bit sooner when the economy was, well, we pretty much bought my house at like the best time. It was September of 2019. That was like when the economy was at its all-time high, like right before the COVID crash. So we bought my house at pretty much the right time. I just wish I didn't have to spend all the money I did on like a rental property for like 3 years before that. Oh, not 3 years, 2 years before that, and all the apartments and different stuff that I rented before that too. Like, if I would have known that this was an option, I would have been like, yeah, let's do this now. uh, man. But yeah, it's like, this is a 1,000 square foot house or whatever, I think, roughly. Maybe 11 or 1,200 square foot overall, something like that. And depending on where you live, like, I mean, well, I don't know what the mortgage rates would be now. Mine is, locked in because because my dad has his locked in, and we've come to our own locked in agreement on how much he expects me to pay him every month. But my dad is also flexible. It's my dad, right? But I try to have him be as strict on me as he can be. He pretty much he has his own version of interests and stuff that he's written out, and he keeps track of everything. It's very my dad's been treasurers in different places, so it's not just like one of those under the table sort of cash agreement things, and I don't know. Anyway, what's it matter to you guys? It's my life, not yours. But just say the rent if you were to actually buy this house at the time that I bought it and would have gotten calculated for a mortgage, the mortgage on this house would have been roughly $600 to $700 a month for the mortgage, and then plus the insurance and all that stuff. Whereas if you were to even just get an apartment that was roughly the same size of my house in a slightly nicer area of St. Louis, just slightly nicer area, but in an apartment of the same size with rent, you're going to pay $1,100 a month in rent. So it's just why is rent twice as much as a mortgage? I mean, 40% more, 35% more, whatever. Well, no, wait. 70% more. Why is it so much more to rent than it is to own something? And I mean, it's liability is what it really is. But I don't know. They're just trying to turn us all into these rental people. And you're going to own nothing and you'll be happy. But it's just no, I'll be truly happy when I own everything that I need and I don't have to pay anything to anybody else to prove that, well, it's still mine or whatever. That's what would be great about being able to buy some land and build my own house and live a life, debt free. That would be awesome. That's the American dream right there, is to live debt free. Whereas they've screwed the American dream around to try to tell you that the American dream is living a life full of debt. And that's why, the American dream is now called, there's a reason it's called the American dream, as George Carlin said. It's because you got to be asleep to believe it. They make it impossible to achieve through the way that they, tell you that you should achieve it. Well, my night Star Wars The Old Republic is 68% downloaded from Steam now. It probably would be a little bit faster download if I wasn't using so much bandwidth by streaming. But yeah. What's up, Scuba Steve? Yeah, Gina's not looking so good tonight. No, I'm kidding. Gina's I'm not sure if she's currently there or not, but Gina's been in the hospital a lot with her son Kane. Pretty much there nonstop, I guess. Maybe just leaving for, to get a little bit of air and to get some food every now and then. But yeah, poor guy just got so incredibly sick and don't know what it was or what it is, but all of his numbers and stuff are starting to get better now, and they're starting to take him off more and more things. And they're trying to. He got off the IV yesterday. Blood sugars are good, so now they're getting him off continuous feeds today and tonight and all that stuff. So hopefully soon, hopefully within the next week, he'll be able to go home. That would be awesome. And it's been at least 3 weeks. I don't know. Oh, let's see. You said you went into the hospital on early Friday morning. So, yeah, it's been a solid 3 weeks and a day. So, yeah. But we want Kane out of the hospital. And, I feel so bad that you're having to go through this, you as well, as I know what it's like to, see somebody you love all hooked up to a bunch of machines and all that stuff. And it's just scary. And, you don't want them to have to go through all that stuff. And then it's just it's so mentally taxing on you and all that too. So I'm really sorry that you and Kane and Nathan are having to go through all this stuff right now, especially when it's we're supposed to be in the holiday season part of the year, with Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff. This is supposed to be the happy time of year, but for some reason it never really seems to be, at least not in my life. I don't know. He's 14, but he's still very much your baby in various ways, because it's not like he's an independent 14-year-old, he's very much a dependent child. So, he's your 14-year-old baby. He really is. And I don't mean I know you didn't take it that way, but in case there's anybody out there that would take that the wrong way, I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. But I mean in the way that you have to continually take care of them in certain ways, he has special needs. And whether he's dependent or not, he's always gonna be your freaking baby, because he's your baby. Gosh, I don't have any actual kids. I wish I did, though. At this exact moment in time, I'm also happy I don't have any kids because I don't have to be responsible for them. But my point is that I've had my cat for like 10 years, and I still look at her like she's a little bitty kitten, like my little bitty baby. And I see other people that have had their cats for like 20 years, and it's just like, man, like I can't imagine having like, you know, a cat in your life for that long, or whatever, a baby. If you, it must be. That's what life is all about, in my opinion. I really wish I could start a family, and I still have time. I hope to one of these days, but I have to also find a woman that wants to actually start a family as well. That seems to be hard to find. Anyway, it's been 2 hours. I gotta get out of here. I am tired and kind of hungry, and I want to get the Steam update or Steam download downloaded so that I can see if this even works, because I like paid for part of it too with this Star Wars thing. I paid for like a starter bundle, like premium 2 month trial thing or whatever, and if I can't even play the game, well, I want a refund. Anyway, next week, Halloween special. Bring your costumes. We're going to do trick-or-treating and all that stuff. If you don't remember how trick-or-treating works last year, well, sorry. You'll figure it out next week. Anyway, everybody have a good one. So long. Thanks for the fish.